I feel God in my life all the time, but this is...
Hang on a second out here.
This is insanity.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. WWE honestly might be one of the strangest companies in the world, and a legitimate bulk of those oddities come from the mind of a single man. A McMahon, in fact, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. One of, if not the single most fascinating people in all of human history, the boss is known for a good few quirks and oddities that tend to keep the locker room members on edge. I'm D-Wicked from Watch WWE, and here's 10 rumors about Vince McMahon from WWE Superstars. Number 10. He still has issues with Punk. While WWE and in turn McMahon himself had to give permission to Fox to allow him to hire CM Punk, that doesn't mean every ash bridge has been unburnt. Vince and Punk did not end on good terms, with Punk essentially breaking down the whole WWE is the top of the mountain philosophy, and Vince saying, hey, you know what, you're fired on your wedding day. Yeah, not exactly best of friends, and Vince being so stringently by his rules must boil the damn blood, since Punk's first ever tweet addressing his new WWE backstage position included a call out, a Twitter at, to both AEW and their owner Tony Khan. Since, Vince has dumped on no less than 2 of the top storylines on both Raw and SmackDown, and in such a convincing manner that he's getting his on-screen partners to slowly agree with him and risk their working relationships with Vince.
Any constructive advice here for Seth?
Yeah, stop tweeting.
Just stay off Twitter.
Stop. Yeah, go on it.
Period.
Go on a hiatus. Delete it off your phone, dude.
Number 9. He hates sneezing. Maybe the oldest, stupidest, and most legendary tidbit of McMahon folklore comes in his hatred for sneezing. You know, that automatic bodily reaction that we as humans actually have zero control over? Yeah, you do it in front of Vince. Don't expect to come to TV for about 3 weeks. Stephanie McMahon herself has confirmed her dad's bizarre sneezing issues, saying that Vince can't control when he sneezes, and so it makes him feel weaker. If he can't control something, he hates it. That sounds like a joke I made, but it's true, and it's actually the most VKM thing I could imagine. Despite knowing you have no power over when a sneeze comes, Steph says Vince still scoffs whenever he hears her sneeze. And given that whole God angle from 2006, I doubt he's saying bless you.
He went right by us.
I feel God in my life all the time, but this is...
Hang on a second out
This
here.
is insanity.
Number 8, prohibited words. It isn't just the sneezing that Vince doesn't want to hear backstage. This one goes back pretty far too, but has really become rough over the last decade or so. It's not even a full-on rumor, it's actually pretty factual that some specific words are not allowed to be used. Wrestler, for example. Wrestler. Can anyone in the class tell me what that second W in WWE stands for? Oh, it's wrestling. Is it wrestling? Yeah, no, call them sports entertainers. Dumb. Wrestling, fans, DQ, these are all dumb but true examples of things you cannot say in WWE anymore. They are banned. There's sus over other words though, and the rumor comes in the words belt and shot. Long rumored to be banned in WWE, apparently these both are making the list of McMahon, baby. Unfortunate for Braun Strowman, as during a certain promo in 2017, he called out Brock Lesnar and demanded, and I quote, a shot at his universal belt. Braun still hasn't won a world championship on the main roster yet. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks on this one.
Braun Strowman presented a championship belt. It belongs to the Bears on this Thanksgiving. Good night.
Number 7, why Baron Corbin is getting pushed so hard. This one's gonna be stupid. Baron Corbin is currently being positioned as the go-to chicken heel of the current SmackDown roster, and you know something? You know what? He is damn good at his job. Unpopular opinion, Baron Corbin is not as bad as people say. He's bad when he's bad, but the blame goes to the writing for that, not Corbin. He's a talented boy, and a big one at that, with a true fighting background. He's a big, bad fighter. The dude is a Vince McMahon wet dream, except he actually might be, because apparently Baron's grand push is partially due to Vince thinking Corbin is a sex machine. He's an incredibly handsome man, and I am not kidding. The rumor goes Vince thought Corbin would look way more menacing without the stringy hair and asked him to shave it, and when he did, that combination of the commitment to the job and how sexy Vince thought he was once he saw him bald is why we see King Corbin feeding Roman dog food every Friday night.
King Corbin promised humiliation.
Number 6, he's a flavor of the month guy. This one may as well not be a rumor. All you have to do is watch the show. Remember that history repeats itself, and then look at WWE in 2019 because it's already happened like half a dozen times now. Vince will see an up-and-comer or some superstar he thinks he could turn into an actual star, usually an NXT call-up, and he'll give them a little push, see how they do. There's a really big problem here, though. WWE doesn't know how to get over stars. It's how they operate. We're so used to how the TV goes that having a dude debut, make a big splash with like 1 or 2 big wins before enacting the 50-50 booking, stopping their momentum, giving them a few losses, and then taking them off TV a month later because they're not getting over. Sound familiar? Because that's the Vince McMahon mentality for a lot of these guys.
That brought the fans out of their seats here in Toronto.
Number 5, he wanted to buy Stardom. So for the true Watch WWEers out there who follow our channel as Bible and strictly watch WWE, first off, don't take the name literally. Listen to my words. Second off, here's a little insight towards the Japanese side of the wrestling world, and oh, what a world it is. New Japan Pro Wrestling is easily the biggest promotion in the East, and their parent company just recently purchased the largest Japanese women's wrestling promotion named Stardom. And if it hadn't been New Japan, it just might have been WWE to be the ones to scoop Stardom up. Ever since the WWE Network was introduced, WWE has slowly made the strides towards global marketing. Remember when they tried India? Well, with NXT UK pretty much dominating that scene and Io, Kairi, and Asuka all making waves right now, Vince said, hey, let's scoop up the Japanese women's wrestling company and see if we can turn it into an NXT Japan of sorts.
Robin, the genius of the sky, taking flight with her moonsault. The back press to cover.
Number 4, he hated that Survivor Series main event. And to be fair, so did a lot of people. This year was stacked with the entire NXT roster at their disposal for the full 6-week build and pay-per-view card. WWE really got to put together an impressive looking Survivor Series. And while not every match was an instant classic, there was quality all throughout the traditional 5-on-5s, the mid-card championship triple threat, Brock versus Ray, and especially Adam Cole defending that NXT title against Pete Dunne. After all of that very long pay-per-view, keep in mind, at the end of it, even though the match had a really good build going into it, the women's main event just didn't work. Shayna, Becky, and Bayley are all great performers. Becky and Bayley have chemistry. Shayna and Becky had it during their NXT match. Shayna and Bayley seems to have it. Why did this match suck so bad to supposedly have Vince pissed off throughout the entire 18-minute contest?
The man, and now Becky. No. Up on the shoulders and right over the announce table.
Number 3, he wants his wrestlers to challenge him. I talk a lot about how WWE has unnecessarily stringent rules. I have already in this list, but I still think it's for good reason. They're detrimental to creativity in almost every sense, at least how WWE applies stringent rules. And that just makes it really odd, because as far back as the 90s, Vince has been known to rough it up with the boys. Vince and Kurt Angle were very well known for surprise shoot fighting each other. Vince loves when he sees the hunger in a dude to step up and challenge the boss. Chris Jericho once recommended Kofi Kingston to stand up to Vince around 2011 once Kofi was having some issues, and Kofi listening and enacting on that is probably why he's still in the company today. Vince respects when people step up. So why is the entire WWE system designed to basically guarantee that no one will?
I gotta go back to WWE, damn it. And I was picturing all these terrible ideas they were having for me, and it was just making me incredibly anxious.
Number 2, the Saudi flight. During that whole Saudi Arabia flight controversy nonsense a little while ago, the wrestling world remembered just how horribly unreliable almost every news source is in this industry. So many different stories were coming out over wrestlers being kidnapped, some saying they were being tortured, some saying the prince just wanted an extra day with the roster. It was a mess. No one knew what was happening, so people just said, screw it, take what you assume, make it into a story, and spread it as fact, aka the real American dream. One of the odder and for some reason biggest rumors was that Vince McMahon got into a verbal or possibly even physical sparring match with the Prince of Saudi Arabia over payment issues because they were skipping out on payment for the last Super Showdown. This one didn't happen, but hey, these are rumors after all. Don't believe everything you hear from a journalist.
Nasty spill, lace landing hard on it, shoulder on the outside.
And number 1, issues with Triple H. I don't know how many of the entries on today's video were true, that's kinda how rumors work after all, but besides the sneezing one, this is by far the most believable thing on the list. Remember what we said about Vince's flavor of the month mentality and how it mainly hits NXT? Imagine you're Triple H. Imagine you run the developmental brand. You spend months upon years investing in this one wrestler, helping craft their image, build their legacy, giving them great storylines and an image to build upon into the future, just to watch him go lose to Carl Anderson and then chill in catering with EC3 for 6 months. Rumor has it that Triple H's frustrations with Vince over his management style and especially the handling of NXT talent is starting to reach a true boiling point. And if you ask me, how the couldn't it?
No, don't do it! No! Right on the concrete!
And those are 10 rumors about Vince McMahon said by WWE superstars. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. After liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and notifications, ring that bell.